Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishnaya. Good afternoon. At the outset, I would like to welcome everybody present with us today in this half day national level webinar on NAAC accreditation processes for colleges, a brief overview, which is jointly organized by the IQAC of Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira in collaboration with IQAC of Ramakrishna Mission Residential College, Narendrapur, Kolkata. We have three very eminent personalities today to enlighten us on different aspects of this NAAC accreditation processes, especially for degree colleges. Dr. K. Rama, former advisor, NAAC. She is with us today. We have respected Dr. Ruchi Tripathi, the assistant advisor of NAAC, and revered Swami Shastrajnananda Maharaj, who is the former principal of our institute, that is Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira, and presently the principal of Ramakrishna Mission Residential College, Narendrapur. I am sure in this session, principals, vice principals, TICs, and especially the IQAC coordinators from general degree colleges will join us virtually. With the idea of Swami Vivekananda, who was the epoch-making thinker and educationist, both these degree colleges since last few decades have been working tirelessly, and we find both the institutes collected many accolades in this tenure or in this journey of last few decades. And today, this is a very unique approach. I think, of course, we had such kind of discussion earlier also. Initiatives have been taken by both the institutes in different times. And I would like to mention, especially those who are joining us today virtually in this platform, especially in our YouTube channel, that after the discussion by our speakers, we have question and answer session. I request especially all our participants, principal, vice principal, TIC and others, IQSC coordinators and faculty members, to kindly note down the question if they have. We will try to answer as best as possible. With this brief note, now I would like to initiate the session. As per the tradition of Ramakrishna Mission, this session will start a formal Vedic invocation by the monastic members of Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Sahanam Bhavatu Sahanam Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishahari. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sanno Mitra Sanvarunaha Sanno Bhavatvaryama Sanno Indro Brihaspati Sanno Vishnurukrama Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishvami ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितैयदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धस्तवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ मधुवातादिताय ते मधुक्षरन्ति सिन्धवः माध्वीर्नः सन्तोषभिः मधुरक्तो मुदो शशी मधुमत्पार्थिवगुंरजः मधुगौरस्तु नः पिता मधुमान्यो वनस्पतिर्मधुमानम् अस्तसूर्यः माधीगावो भवन्तु नः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु
Thank you. Now, I would like to request revered Swami Ekachittanandaji Maharaj, Principal, Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira, to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Respected Professor K. Rama, former advisor NAAC, Professor Ruchi Tripathi, Assistant Advisor NAAC, revered Swami Shastrajnananda Ji Maharaj, Principal, Ramakrishna Mission Residential College, Narendrapur, will be joining us soon. Beloved and respected Mahapragyananda Ji, Vice Principal of our college, Professor Indrashish Banerjee, Coordinator, IQAC, Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira, other members of the Vidya Mandira family, as well as that of Narendrapur family, distinguished listeners and viewers, including respected principals, TICs, IQAC coordinators of different colleges, my heartfelt namaskar, respect and good wishes in due places. It is indeed a blessed privilege on our part to host a national level webinar in collaboration with the Ramakrishna Mission Residential College, Narendrapur, on the pressing issue of preparedness on the NAAC assessment and accreditation mechanism. As has been pointed out by our Vice Principal Maharaj, our college was the dream child of none other than Swami Vivekananda himself. Swamiji pointed out that education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. So this definition of education holds good in collective level as much as in the individual level. So this whole exercise of NAAC assessment and accreditation, as we understand it, is directed towards bringing out the best of each and every institution. We have got potentialities of our own. The difference between different colleges and universities lie in the degree of manifestation of that hidden potentiality. To this end, we had our turn of undergoing the third cycle of NAAC accreditation procedure very recently this year, and in the process, we learned a number of lessons that we deem worth sharing with others. The first and foremost lesson that has been directed to us has been on the benefit of harboring a sense of togetherness and nurturing a spirit of belonging to a family. So I found that the NAAC accreditation process demands that we explore areas of our hidden strength, address the issues, areas of our weakness, accumulate resources, utilize them properly, and finally present our achievements in proper perspectives. That's what exactly we witnessed during the entire journey spread over more than 2 years, beginning with the submission of IIQA and ending with the peer team visit. All the departmental faculty members, the members of the non-teaching staff, alumni, as well as the monastic members came together to bring out the best of this great institution. The other point that dawned to us is that the quality indicators, namely curricular aspects, teaching, learning and evaluation, research, innovation and extension, infrastructure and learning resources, student support and progression, governance, leadership and management, and institutional values and best practices are not independent of each other. They are indeed not isolated territories. So while carrying out the exercise, we need a total comprehensive vision as far as the growth of the institution is concerned. And thirdly, a proper planning of is of utmost importance in the whole exercise. So these are some of the major takeaways on our part. However, at the operational level, we require a rigorous and thorough study of the whole process and a detailed discussion on the parameters involved, hoping that an analytical study would be immensely beneficial to us as well as to other institutions of our vicinity. We went ahead. After all, sharing and caring has been the mantra of the Ramakrishna mission, right from the point of inception, and ours is essentially spiritual organization. So this NAAC assessment process is outwardly directed towards the attainment of excellence, is actually a spiritual sadhana, part of our sadhana. Excellence, of course, is a never-ending process. The initial inspiration behind conducting this type of a webinar came from a letter sent by then Honorable Minister of State, Human Resources Development Ministry, Government of India, Shri Sanjay Dhotre, a year and a half back, wherein Dhotre ji congratulated the Vidyamandira family for its achievement at the national level in the NIRF ranking 2020 and asked us to collaborate and, if possible, to mentor a group of neighboring colleges for their total academic upbringing. To fulfill this dream, the obligation, better to say the social responsibility, we thought of holding a half-day webinar, and we are extremely grateful to Dr. K. Rama and Dr. Ruchi Tripathi for giving their consent, for sharing their valuable time with us today. Our pranams to revered Shastrajnananda ji Maharaj as well. We are especially thankful to all the principals, TICs, IQAC coordinators of all the colleges who have joined us today in our humble endeavor. Once again, on behalf of Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira and Ramakrishna Mission Residential College, Narendrapur in general, and the internal quality assurance cells of the two colleges in particular, I welcome you all to this August assembly. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.
Thank you, Maharaj. Our humble pranam to revered Ekachittanandaji Maharaj, Principal Ramakrishna Mission, Vidyamandira. Now, we are very happy, as our Principal Maharaj mentioned, to have Professor Dr. K. Rama, the former advisor NAAC, to be with us. Now, I would like to request Professor Rama to kindly deliver her address.
Thank you, Maharaj. And first of all, I congratulate both the institutions for their achievements in NIRF as well as um, in the NAC process. I'm just trying to share my screen. Just a minute for give just a minute for me and let me see. Um, can you see my screen shared?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can see
Yeah,
the
yeah,
slides.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
good.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
good. That's good. Okay. Uh, I thought Ruchi would be speaking first, so I made my slides in a different way. But anyway, I'm not going to speak very much on the process. Um, I'll just speak on some of the issues which really bother institutions while filling up their SSR. So there are basically three issues which I'll be talking on. As Principal Maharaj has already told, the seven criteria are interrelated and issues crisscross across criteria. And these three issues are the ones which really make a difference in the institutional performance. So it is very important for institutions to understand the issues which I'll be talking, mainly three issues I'll be talking on. And on the process component, I'm sure, Ruchi, you are hearing, and I hope you will cover all the process because she's more updated on the latest developments in the process component of NAC. And any further issues which the participants are having, I'll be there in the question answer session. I'll be there and we'll clarify on this together. Um, this slide is a recent one being circulated in the WhatsApp. So I just thought that this is the one which makes a difference. This is what made a difference to many institutions. It is their mindset. Most often we start complaining that we don't have this facility, we don't have that funding, we don't have research contributions. How can we succeed in the process, or how can we compete in the process? But see this little child who has nothing, not even a single robe to wear, but he has that confidence and mindset to be sitting on a throne, dreaming to sit on a throne. And he has made his own throne of bricks, which in future, I'm sure, if you have that type of mindset, he will create his beautiful throne tomorrow as he grows up into the future. So it is the mindset of each individual in the institution and institutions which gives them an identity and separates them from the rest of the institutions and make them the best of the institution, because you know how to optimally utilize the resources and strengthen yourself. That is what Maharaj was also telling. So optimal utilization of resources and working on your strengths, strengthening your strengths further. So your challenges should become your opportunities, and your opportunities, as you work on them, become your strengths. That is how the institutions have to move, if they have to be a quality institution and survive in the new ecosystem which is coming on board because of the national education policy being aggressively implemented. Now, if you look at this NAP 2020, I'll not talk in detail of NAP, but it is at creating an Atmanirbhar Bharat. And that can happen only, is believed, through quality higher education. And how can we achieve quality higher education? Is through empowerment and autonomy. So there's lot which is talked of empowerment and autonomy. Empowerment of individual students, autonomy of the students in terms of choosing their courses, choosing their entry and exit points, choosing their place of study. These are the this is the type of empowerment and autonomy the students are given. And the teachers are given the autonomy and empower, and the teachers are empowered to use various different types of pedagogy, use different modes of teaching, teach different subjects, where you have not just a degree as a specialization, but you have the skills and specialized knowledge within you. So as you pursue a different program from your main degree program which you have done in the current education system, so you can develop content, post the content, the course content on board, and any student can take it. And there is no bar that you should be qualified specifically in terms of having a degree to develop a content in a different type of specialization. And you as a teacher can pursue further many more subjects and be a specialized teacher in that particular subject beyond your own subject specialization. This is the type of empowerment and autonomy the teachers are going to have. Institutions are also going to have a lot of autonomy. They are going to be degree awarding institutions. Your curriculum and your recruitment processes, your policies are no more going to be dependent on the university systems, which we almost always crib on, that the university has given the curriculum, we have nothing to do. Though there has been lot of flexibility given to you, but you didn't use your autonomy then, but you are now fully autonomous. So you and empowered to provide quality higher education and either sustain yourself in the new ecosystem or perish. So it's a do and die issue. So now you should be more self-reliant and have the courage and take the risk to develop yourself into a quality institution. So this is what is going to happen, and this is how you have to start thinking in a new format, for which there are a lot of support system which is coming on board in terms of the National Technology Forum, which is going to support you in terms of providing quality content for your teaching learning, supporting your teaching learning process. If you are not very comfortable in knowing the latest developments, you can pick up content from the National Education Technology Forum and use it for your own transaction of your own curriculum. You can develop content and post it there for others, other institutions and your own institution to use. You can also take some technology support from the National Education Technology Forum. Similarly, there is the research council, which is going to fund research both at the undergraduate and postgraduate level as well, both for students and teachers. And there's going to be a lot of focus and support for research in social sciences and humanities. There is going to be much higher support than for basic sciences. So you will have almost an equal support as for in terms of research funding for social sciences and humanities, because that is found to be very important if we have to progress into higher order science research component. Social sciences research are the supportive system for higher order research outcomes to be science research outcomes to be implemented. So the focus of the whole system is changing. So I call it a new ecosystem, new higher education ecosystem is coming. So all of us should try to be the first runners and use the new type of funding, new type of support systems and facilities which are going to come on board if you have to sustain and be a quality higher education institution and provide quality higher education. So with this, while Ruchi will be telling you on the process component and what are the initiatives of National Assessment and Accreditation Council, integrating the national education policy initiatives into the latest manuals. I'll just talk on a few things now. What is the new look or a new vision you should have towards being quality, or to say a quality mission? What you should have in the near future is to provide students with clear opportunities for deep learning within, across and outside of the traditional academic subjects, because we have already introduced this choice based system, but now not very much taken up by our students, because we didn't offer many subjects. Now we have not used this massive open online courses provision, or tried to update ourselves on the portals like Swami and NPTEL, which have been providing content for various subjects for which we don't have teachers, or institutions cannot afford teachers. Now no more we can wait on that. Institutions are expected to jump into multiple mode of teaching learning processes. You can't just remain and start working on your face to face mode of education. So it is essential that both the teachers and students become aware of technology mediated teaching learning processes, and extensively use this online content which is coming on board. That major role of the teachers is to transform the students to be a learner, a good learner, and help them and support them in choosing the right content when they pursue this online education. That is how the teachers also have to become adapt themselves and become very techno savvy personnel. Now the second one is to facilitate more extended learning opportunities. Please try to note these new terminologies which are going to come on board, which you are going to face in the near future in tomorrow's educational assessment processes, or your curriculum, or in anywhere when you start working on in this field of teaching learning. So to facilitate more extended learning opportunities and experiences to students than would normally possible within our traditional timetable. This is what you have to that is where we are talking of outcomes based education, value added courses, curriculum enrichment, etc., which I'll be talking in the coming few slides. And to cover the skills that a fresh graduate should possess to become employable, which are not adequately included in the curriculum. So the whole NAAC process revolves how well you are doing on these three components. It doesn't ask you much beyond this. It is only asking you on how best you are doing on these components, which is the need of the stakeholders and which has been your commitment to the stakeholders. So now, so I told you we'll be talking on three components, as I have told you the 3 points. The first one is the outcomes based education, which is much discussed. Most often, when you have to answer the first criteria, curriculum aspects, and when you have to also talk of student support and progression, this outcome based education crisscrosses all these, the second criteria, teaching learning process, then the evaluation component, and the type of support systems you are giving to make your students progress to higher education or progress to employability. So I'll not talk of what are the outcomes in a very detailed technical terminology. Let us understand the very basics of what do we mean by this outcomes based education. So it is, even if the university has given you some outcomes, but you can always create your own outcomes at your teaching, at your classroom level, for each of the subject or for each of the unit you are going to transact. You can create your own outcomes, which may be beyond the outcomes prescribed by the university, or if they are not clearer, or if the university has not given the outcomes for some of the process, some of the units, it is essential that you should create your own outcomes. So it is very essential in the new upcoming policies of education that you understand what is this outcomes based education and what do these outcomes really mean to you. So how do you frame your outcomes is starting with a clear picture of what is important for the students to be able to do, say when they are pursuing a BA degree in history or a BCom degree in economics or commerce, or an engineering degree doing computer science or whatever it is. Then organizing the curriculum delivery and assessment to make sure learning happens. So first, you have to analyze the student community, their background, the diversity of the students, their learning, their prior learning which is come on board, and then move towards the curriculum, and then see how you chalk out your curriculum delivery or the curriculum implementation plan. What are the pedagogical practices you would like to use? What are the models of teaching learning process you would use? Whether you would adopt a small group learning, or take a whole class thing, whether you'll use a project mode, or you will have a pre-induction sessions. A lot of things have to be looked into based on the prior learning of your students and the background of the students from where they are going to come. So your delivery model should be very, very specific. Don't jump and just decide which one should be online or which one should be offline or which one should be just a sort of a knowledge component delivery, or it should be interactive classroom sessions. How much technology and at what level you should use. These are some of the delivery issues which you should really think of first hand. And then you should also think of levels of assessment. When we talk technical terms, formative assessment, summative assessment, I'll not use any of those terms. Don't forget about all those terms, but you see whether you should just have an objective type of test, or whether you should have an essay type of writing, or whether it should be a project mode, or whether if you want the students to develop better communicative skills, you want it to be on a seminar mode and make an assessment. There are different modes of tests and evaluation processes you can use for assessing the student learning. So that is very important. So outcome based education, and or when you are deciding the outcomes, this is the background with which you should start working. Now, what is in this four levels of outcomes what we have talked earlier. So what the student should be able to do at the end of the course, this is as simple as that. If I am finishing a BA course in history or in English, what should be my student by at the end of the first year, at the end of the second year, at the end of the third year, what should he be able to do? You should have a clear picture on that, and then your teaching, learning, and your curriculum should be oriented towards that type of achievement the student should be able to by end of each of your unit, or by end of each of your year or program. So those are what we define them as the attributes. So what are the attributes the student should be having by end of a unit, by the end of completing a unit, or completion of a semester, or an year, or a program? This is what you have to decide, and accordingly you have to slate your curriculum and transact your curriculum and operationalize your classroom activities. That's very important. And it's not just because the university has given you a curriculum, you just go by unit without looking at the interactiveness or the interrelationship between these units, and assessing whether your students could conceive the components which are given in that particular curriculum. Could they master it? Could they able to learn particularly, and whether those attributes or the outcomes which are decided by pursuing that part of curriculum has been achieved or not. So to understand this is very, very important that you understand this. So what are the teaching learning practices you use to make the student achieve this outcome or to achieve that particular attribute? That should be your next step of planning. Then the final step will be, then you have to think of what type of teaching learning practices I should use to ensure that my students will achieve this outcome. So depending on the background of the students and their abilities, you have to take up the teaching learning practices, and this don't use very randomly on whatever that practice, but you have to think and then proceed on having the proper classroom transaction methodologies. Then how to measure that what student has achieved. So this is very important. At every level you should be having a sort of feedback mechanism. You should take feedback, you should use various approaches to ensure that the student has learned and achieved, or have achieved that particular outcome what has been decided after going through the particular process. So this is very important for you. And if not, what should be the remedial measures if a student is not learning, how to ensure that the student achieves that type of level of learning. So that assessment procedures should be decided based on the student background. So this is how you have to decide your outcome based your whole class curriculum transaction should be programmed by you. This is how your timetable should be set, so that you have a flexibility in terms of completing your curriculum, but at the same time ensuring that the outcomes are achieved and all students have at least that minimum levels of learning which happens by the end of each of this unit or the program. So this is very, very important. So your timetable is not a mechanically set timetable, so there should be a lot of autonomy and flexibility given to the teachers. And there should be proper learning spaces built into your transactional models. So it's very, very important that you understand the different types of teaching learning practices or models, or pedagogy, what you call, whatever terminologies you understand. But how you teach, what you teach, and how the student learns, and what the student learn, and how better the student can learn is what at the end of the day should be your assessment model. So you should learn lessons, you should have takeaways from these assessments and feedback processes from time to time, and not just shy away and just move through the curriculum. Completing the syllabus should not be your aim. So if that is going to happen in future, your institution is not going to live in the educational space. So it's very, very important that you transform yourself to be a learner, and to not to just translate just transmit knowledge, but to make the learner learn how to learn, the student learn how to learn, how to be a self learner, how to be a best learner. Lifelong learner is what the final outcomes are being specified in the various evaluation systems or assessment systems. Now what are outcomes? Because the very first question, comes on, outcomes based education, and many people approach consultants to develop these learning outcomes, program outcomes, course outcomes, without understanding. So it's better you understand what are these outcomes, and then you develop your outcomes, so that your teaching learning process also gets improved. Now, outcome of an education is what the student should be able to do at the end of the program or course or an instructional unit. So when it is holistically at the program level, we call them as program outcomes. When it is particularly at a course level, we call them as a course outcome. And at the instructional level, we call, course or instructional unit level, you can call as a learning outcome. So, there are, these are the types of terminologies we are using. So program outcomes are very broad. Okay, then course outcomes are very specific to that particular course or unit, and unit outcomes are much more at a micro level. So, some all need not be, some may be a component of knowledge, some may be a component of application, some may be a component of skill. So this is what you have to understand. It's not essential all three components, skills, knowledge, and the application components, get into the each outcome. So now what will happen is, when we are asking how many, in NAAC there's a question, how many courses are employability, where employability component is introduced. So unless you understand these outcomes, you'll not be able to highlight what is the employability component in that outcome, on the program outcome or course outcome or the unit outcome. So when there is an application component, and when there is a skills component involved into either in the courses, I think that makes that course employable. It's not that 100% of your courses can be considered as employable oriented courses. Okay, so this is how it's important. And if in a course outcome, if employability is not built in or across the courses in the program or across the units in the program, it is essential that you enhance this through an enrichment or a value added program. So this is why we will
Uh, I think Dr. Rama got disconnected in between. There's some connection issues. Yes, it was an excellent deliberation that we were listening from Dr. Rama. In short, I think she will be connected. We have Professor Dr. Indrashish Banerjee with us, IB sir. He is the IQSC coordinator of our Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira College. So we're trying to connect Dr. Rama. We were listening to Dr. Rama, and as I began that, uh, these two institutions which took initiative as a joint venture to organize today's webinar since last many decades, this Ramakrishna Mission Residential College, Narendrapur, and Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira have been tirelessly working to actualize the idea of Swami Vivekananda's this man-making and character-building education. And yes, as our principal Maharaj mentioned, that both these colleges they got very nice grade in Vidya Mandira got A double plus, and Ramakrishna Mission Residential College Narendrapur got A plus in the last cycle, respective cycles of NAAC accreditation process. And we are very happy that we find today different principals, principal from different colleges, vice principals, and TICs and IQSC coordinators. They joined us in this session. We are trying to connect. Rama somehow got disconnected in between in course of deliberation.
এখন শুনতে পাচ্ছেন তো?
Yes, yes, madam.
আচ্ছা, ঠিক
Yes,
আছে।
madam.
আমি
Yes, madam. We can hear you.
ওকে, 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 ওকে।
Yes.
স্লাইডটা দেখতে পাচ্ছেন?
না এখনো পাইনি ম্যাডাম।
এখন পাইনি? আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে।
আপনার কথা শুনতে পাচ্ছি পুরো।
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে। এখন দেখতে পাচ্ছেন স্লাইডটা?
হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ, এইবার হ্যাঁ আসছে, হ্যাঁ এসেছে,
হ্যাঁ,
এসেছে ম্যাডাম।
এসছে না? এসছে না?
হ্যাঁ, এসছে ম্যাডাম। হ্যাঁ।
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে। আচ্ছা, আপনি কত
এর পরের স্লাইডটা, এর পরেরটা, হ্যাঁ এইখানে ছিল।
এটা শুনতে পেরেছেন কিনা?
হ্যাঁ, 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 এটা প্রায় কমপ্লিট হয়েছে।
এইটা প্রায় হয়ে গেছে না? শুনেছেন তো? আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ, সরি, মানে এটা নেটটা ডাউন হয়ে গেছে। ওকে, সরি ফর দিস ইন্টারাপশন। এটা সব সময় হয়। নাও ঠিক আছে।
Yes.
Okay, now মানে আপনার মানে when you anybody goes to the this OB framework, what I am showing is what the whole NAAC processes is evolved around this framework. See, at the beginning, it's the need of the parents, students, industry, professionals, or professional organizations, and there's a lot of input and feedback we ask when we are asking about in the very first criteria, curricular aspects, যখন আমরা কথা বলি, এটা feedback system is very important in that. So many colleges ask us, why should we take feedback when the university is giving the curriculum? But you now understood, by now you might have understood, you have to develop your own outcomes, you have to understand the outcomes, and these outcomes are not just dictated by the university, but you have to contextualize these outcomes to your students' background and their needs. So you are contributing to the needs of the student. So it is very important that you understand what are the needs of the student and how well you are orienting your curriculum delivery to the students' requirement or to the stakeholders' requirements, and how well your students are performing in the field, on ground, after they graduate from your institution. So you're taking feedback on your own process through their performance from the industries and other organizations who are employing them. So this feedback feedback process, developing feedback processes is a very, very important component. So don't just think that what should we do with this feedback, why we should take that feedback. So dovetailing that feedback into your improvement process is why NAAC has asked this feedback component. So if any quality institution should not think of giving just transferring this feedback to the university system, but how do you dovetail it, how do you use it for your own improvement processes, for improving your teaching learning process, for improving your own curriculum transaction. What are the additions, what are the what how do you improve the curriculum given by the university to suit to the students who are enrolled into your institution. And this is and only such institutions who always try to look back, review their own processes, and with a critical review inputs are the institutions which are very, very successful institutions. As Maharaj has already told, what are the takeaways? He has given you so many hints. This is what they have done. That they always looked at their performance as a critical review. So they made a critical review of their own performance, so that they don't really look at their own strengths, but they look at their weaknesses or their challenges and how they improve upon them. How do they overcome these things is what you have to really work on it. If you have to work on it, then if you see this simple model I have placed, many such models are available on internet. So try to go to the net, choose a model which better suits you, and then you develop that framework for your own institution and use it. So it's the OBE framework, the outcomes based education framework, is very simple. This is the simplest one I find out. So I found it very easy how to develop the outcomes, what we have talked in our earlier slides, then how to, take the feedback, use it for developing the outcomes, and then enriching and enhancing the curriculum given by the university. Syllabus is yours, curriculum is given by the university. So course planning and delivery, how do you slate your courses, what time is appropriate to deliver a course? These are some of the things which is in your hand. You are empowered to take decisions on that. Your internal assessment is your practice. University is, you have to only send the marks to the university. So it's very important that you use your autonomy to the maximum. You be empowered. Nobody will empower you. You have to empower yourself. And then, this assessment, how do you feedback it for improvement? How do you slate your assessment processes? What type of assessment procedures you adopt? And what are the intervals of assessment? You have to, you would like to plan. These are all within your hands and you have to do. And that will only lead to improvements of the overall teaching learning processes and also the curriculum transaction process. So there's a very simple model. So you have to map your whole institutional activities on such a framework and then start working. So responding to NIRF or responding to NAAC or responding to any other organizations evaluation frameworks will be a cakewalk for you, and I am 100% sure you will be the best performers with the minimal resources. Only thing is your interpretation of the metric and your effort towards improving the processes within the given resources makes a difference. So now you see what are the overall performance of the of the program, that what we call as graduate attributes are not just dependent on curriculum. Okay, they're dependent on curriculum, co-curricular activities play a very, very major role, and other active academic activities like, value added courses, research activities, project based learning, giving the students some projects. These are very much important things which enhance the learning of the institution. So it's not just the curriculum which makes the student successful graduate, but it's the other things. Curriculum is given by the university, but co-curricular and other academic activities are those which have to be built in by the institution. And this is where we have lot of stress. We ask many questions, crisscrossing from criteria 1 to 4. We have lot of questions which come on board, and if you are doing, you can walk with ease and respond to these questions. And only if these three and more interrelate with each other, then I think the performance of the student will be very good at the field level, and the students will benefit because they will get the necessary knowledge and skills to be successful in this global market. So now you see, we again use this word curriculum enrichment. So many times you get a confusion between value added courses and curriculum enrichment. What is curriculum enrichment? Enrichment of curriculum means giving the curriculum given by the university a greater value by putting life into the overall education process. That means your teaching should be so effective that the curriculum becomes a very encouraging component, very what you call very interesting component. And curriculum enrichment is the process of adding educational content, more content, or new learning opportunities to a given curriculum, opportunities for broadening students educational experience. So how you add, what are the different activities you add to make the curriculum more interesting, more updated, to give it the latest view of the curriculum while you transact. By adding more content means giving the latest updates on that particular unit or subject, or whatever topic, whatever you call it. That is what is the curriculum enrichment means. And you can give it to the students by referring, asking them to view certain papers, go through certain website web links, or go through some other NPTEL or Swayam platforms and enroll into some of these latest courses which give them the latest update on the topic, etc. There are various means. So you have to, your ideation is yours. We can't prescribe here anything. There's lot of ideation which goes, you go through. If you don't really still understand, go through this topic, read for 1 week on the internet, read various topics, then you will yourself decide what do you mean, and you have new ideas which will be coming on board, how to make this curriculum enrichment vibrant into the into your teaching learning process. So curriculum enrichment supports cognitive development of the student fraternity through well planned lessons spread throughout the period of education. I don't say only student fraternity, but also it supports the cognitive in the process of doing curriculum enrichment. The faculty's cognitive development also enlarges. So it is very important that you look at these new terms, understand these new terms, implement these new things into your into your classroom transactions. Enrichment. Now, enrichment involves activities which colleges provide in order to extend students' education beyond their main course of study. This increases student motivation and achievement and enhances students' campus experiences. What are the type of activities you can do? Personal research, group projects, practical work, creative expression, discussion, brainstorming, a number of examples, which most of the things you are doing, but you have to put life into it. Don't do it as a part of the prescription given by the university, but if you integrate these into every new aspect which you want to bring in, and bring that type of enhancement onto that activity, then it is called as curriculum enrichment. Just by doing a group project because it is prescribed in the syllabus that a group project has to be taken up by a student, by some students, will not help. But you as a teacher, to improve, give them a project to work on the latest technological developments, and then ask them to project, and then have an interactive session in the classroom, and you become the facilitator there, and you enrich also through your experience. That is how things have to move by curriculum enrichment. The examples I have given are very simple but also not very confusing, so don't just take those as an example. To make keep you people in a comfort zone, I have given this example, but I advise all the teachers to go through this internet, and there are some models. I'll also just show you as an example, but there are different models depending, again I'm telling, depending on your context, you have to decide. Don't just go because I have given an example, you take that example and try to implement. No, it will not work. Okay, you have to look at the context in which you are located, in which your students learning abilities and levels, and then decide on what type of model or what type of activity you should do for curriculum enrichment. So whatever you do, it will give flexibility in the curriculum, and that relevance to the curriculum, and it should enable coherence with the various subsystems. So subsystems of your in which you are working. Okay, that multidisciplinarity component you can bring, and the research unit thing you can bring. So there are various subsystems which work, and your placements, or any other subsystem. So you have to bring a coherence among the subsystems. This curriculum enrichment will improve the relevance of the curriculum which you are transacting. And as I said, role of teachers is very, very important, though we talked mostly about the teacher. But whatever the good the curriculum is, unless it is transacted well by the teacher, it cannot be a good curriculum. So curriculum enrichment cannot take place in isolation or in vacuum. Teachers engagement with the curriculum and his or her knowledge, please underline it, and understanding the student learning level plays a major role in curriculum enrichment process. This is what I'm talking. I've been telling the context in which you are. So curriculum enrichment is not just a simple process, but it will, this slide will tell you, this enhances student experiences through curriculum and teaching, which is central to educational quality, and it empowers the student to build a bright future. So, and it empowers the student to make a lifelong learner. It empowers the student to select the right curriculum. It enhances their ability to make right decisions and right choices in selecting the type of content or the courses which they want to pursue, in addition to the given curriculum by the university, which is the minimum component. So this is, and they improve their learning outcomes and develop various life skills and technical skills. Now, this is one model which I feel the most simplest model of Joseph Enzeli, the curriculum enrichment triad they call, because there are three steps, three levels which Joseph prescribes on this. So, see, what does this encourage? Creative productivity of young people by exposing them to various topics, areas of interest, and fields of study, and further train them to apply advanced content, latest content, what we mean, process training skills, latest skills they will develop by enrichment, and methodology training to self-selected areas of interest. This is what Joseph says. This is the model of the curriculum enrichment, what he suggests. Type 1, which is general exploratory activity, which is normally applicable for whole classroom. And then type 2 is a group training activities, based on the specific interest of a group of students, you group them and give. And type 3 is an individual, what we talk of advanced learners, how do you engage advanced learners. These are the three types of curriculum enrichment, which you should be able to do. So your regular classroom and an external environment which keeps influencing will have a superimposing effect on this model of curriculum enrichment when you try to implement it into your thing, into practice. So you have to have understand what is your regular classroom, what is the student community, their diversity, their learning levels, and the environment which is impacting them or which is going to influence them. That is what, and where they are going to go in future. This is what you are understanding what we are talking of, the context stands for. Now this type 1, what we call general exploratory activities, try to focus on those red components what I'm telling. So it's covered in the regular curriculum. It's normally done at the beginning of the session, where you try to introduce and you try to give a warm up session to your students, like it's a sort of induction program where very generic components which they have already learned in +2 are repeated here. So how to make them more interesting and lay a foundation for future in-depth studies. So it's like small museum visits, small seminars, interviews with each other, interactiveness, students, exploring each other's ideas. These are some of the things which we normally do, and this is done at the beginning, the very induction level of the students. So this is a type 1 activity which you can have. Type 2 is group training, we have told, where you try to develop students cognitive ability and effective skills such as creativity, critical thinking, social competencies, problem solving, etc. This will allow the student to pursue an additional area of his or her interest. So apart from that curriculum, core curriculum, what you are teaching, they'll also try to do something beyond that, so that they get more knowledge and skills in that particular aspect. Now, this is the type 3, that is investigation of real problems. This depends on the individual interests of the students. Mostly it applies to advanced learners who are very much interested in, so where the students want to further explore, be best in the thing, want to excel. And normally this happens in a one-to-one or a small group activities. Okay, so they want to do some specialized activities, they want to be very perfect into that. So this is where this third type of activity you should introduce. Now, how these value added courses enrich the programs. There is a difference between curriculum enrichment, we have talked so far as curriculum enrichment. So value added courses as enrichment programs add value to the already offered courses in the institution. This is where most often you get confused and you don't really understand. So at least why NAAC says 30 hours or 15 hours is, that is a credit which is earned. Tomorrow if a student pursues a course, at least if it is 1 credit level course, then there is a sort of attribute which they develop, or a skill or knowledge development can happen if they pursue this much time period. That is what our educationists have decided. And most often if it is a 1 day program, or if it is a half a day program, or a 1 lecture, I think they don't develop the type of skills or knowledge which is required. So they have to go through a small process where they develop some interest, develop some skills and real knowledge which they can apply, and it will increase their employability, because when they go to for an interview or to an industry, by virtue of completion of this course, which includes knowledge, skills and application components, will help them to really perform well on the ground. So that 30 hours or 15 hours type of credit hours requirement has been given, and tomorrow if they want to earn a credit by giving just an exam on this, they can also earn a credit, and that will add a sort of a certificate part to these students. So these value added courses in the new NEP are going to be very, very useful for institutions if they have already started them, developed some sort of content on them, etc. So these, what are these value added courses? Value added courses are the types of courses which help a particular individual to develop skills in their own chosen field of study. Value added courses aim to provide additional learner centric, graded, skill oriented technical training, means additional, with the primary objective of improving the employability skills of the students. Okay, employability means they need not get employability, entrepreneurship as well, an interest in that particular area of study. Then value added students, this is more important, help the student break the underachievement cycle. Most often they feel so boring, the curriculum, because they already know about that and we do a repetition, so they get disinterested into the program and they don't take interest in pursuing that program, and which results in underachievement. So how do you break an underachievement? Is by adding a more practicable, more interesting value added course to a student, and by virtue of which the underachievement cycle is broken, by encouraging underachieving students to develop interest and pursue projects that help them to develop a love for learning. So these are what value added courses, objectives of the value added courses should be. If you have understand this objective of what are the objective of a value added courses, then you will understand what are value added courses and how do you distinguish between enrichment programs, enrichment curriculum enrichment, value added courses, or value courses which are value based courses, like moral values, ethical values, professional ethics and all, those are value based courses. Value added courses, value based courses, you should be able to distinguish between both of them. So these are what you should understand, what do you mean by value added courses. So what should be the type of attributes or outcomes you should build for value added courses? Value added programs aligned to program outcomes and beyond. It's not just you should not put them just within the program outcomes, but they should be beyond the program outcomes. What is your quality? What do we say when you say quality assurance and grading? We say beyond the minimum requirements, correct? What do you do beyond the minimum requirements gives your quality outcomes. That's what is called as the quality. Beyond the minimum prescribed thing, whatever you do will decide the quality level of your institution. Similarly, value added programs aligned to program outcomes and beyond. So these are some of the things which you have to build. I'll not talk on this because of the time constraint. And they have to aim at developing competencies and life skills. So these type of courses, whichever you are organizing, these will form your value added courses. So you can review this because it will be available on YouTube. I'll not talk on this. And also, they should also surround on all these aspects. So they should consist of so many things, so many stakeholders will be involved, so many processes will be involved on this. And it's very important that the students have advanced in the digital literacy. So it is very important that the teachers also improve their own techno-pedagogical skills. So teachers also need to update themselves if they have to, be competitive and be effective in their own teaching learning process. This is what again, NAAC talks of FDPs, faculty development programs, and whether most of you have now a doubt whether online FDPs are agreeable or not. Yes, online FDPs, if you pursue a full FDP online, it should be acceptable. So you should also now start developing new skills for content development, for online teaching, etc. And this is going to make a difference in the near future. And nurturing quality together is what is the final ultimate goal of NAAC. We want to empower institutions. The national idea is to empower institutions to be responsible for their own quality. So internal quality assurance systems is very, very important for each institution. And if there is a strong internal quality assurance system which works in a participatory manner, in a coordinated manner, and in a collaborating with other institutions, taking learnings from other institutions, sharing experiences, I think you will be a quality institution. There cannot be a second thought. Finally, I would like to conclude telling your effort, your attitude, and the quality culture of the institution is only going to make you celebrate and be a successful institution. So thank you very much for patient hearing. I just talked on the challenges which the institution face while applying for NAAC or NIRF. It's a very generic talk I have given. Thank you for patient hearing. Back to the organizers, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. K. Rama. Last few nearly 40-45 minutes, we are spellbound and hearing the very enlightening discourse by Professor Rama. She pointed out various aspects and of this type of NAAC accreditation. Now, I would like to ask our Dr. Professor Ramakrishna Mondal, is there any question? Or if it comes later, in that case, we will take the question and answer session at the end. Till now, okay. After this very insightful talk delivered by Professor K. Rama, now I would like to request Professor Dr. Ruchi Tripathi, Assistant Advisor NAAC, to kindly deliver her address. Professor Tripathi.
Thank you so much. I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Let us start our PPT. My PPT is visible.
Not yet, ma'am.
Okay. I think now my PPT is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now we can see.
Okay. Thank you so
Yes.
much, sir. And very good afternoon to one and all present here. and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of National Assessment and Accreditation Council. Thank you, Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandir College. Thank you, all the participants, and thank you, Dr. Rama ma'am. I'm very much happy you are here. And she has already explained very well with examples what the challenges faced by the institution during the process of assessment and accreditation. She has explained very well with a very nice example. So in my presentation, I'm going to present about the micro level things. What is the NAAC assessment and accreditation process, whole framework of NAAC. So let us discuss about the NAAC process of what is RF, revised accreditation framework. So as you know, not going to discuss about the history and all. As you know, what are the benefits, why the NAAC is important for the institution, for the different kind of benefits. After the accreditation, the institution maybe enjoy the a lot of funding like UGC, RUSA, DST, DBT at all, etc. So these are the things why it is important. If we're talking about the benefits of NAAC accreditation, you know, this is the indirectly there is lot of benefits. I just want to discuss here one few, two, three, like that. Once you are in the process of assessment and accreditation, you know, you have to know, you are able to know, because we have the 7 criteria. Under each criteria, we have the key indicators. And as Madam mentioned in the curriculum enrichment, value-added courses, and lot of examples. So you have to understand where you are stand. So as per NAAC, if you are going to accredit, you are able to understand where is your strength, weakness, opportunity, challenges, and you are able to know the your benchmarking for your own benchmarking for the further improvement. So these are the benefits, how the NAAC is important, what are the important. Let us move about the highlights of the current assessment and accreditation council. As you know, the whole process of assessment and accreditation of NAAC is completely automation process, starting from the registration to end of result. Even the post accreditation phenomena is also the fully automated and online process. Now, in this RF revised accreditation framework, and what is today the process, that is data driven assessment and accreditation process. As you know, we have two kind of metric, that is quantitative metric and the qualitative metric. In this quantitative metric, we have done the third party verification, that is called as the data validation and verification process, and this is the data driven process. And 30% is the for the peer team visit, that is done by after the pre qualification stage. And also we have the system generated score. Each and every process, either quantitative metric or the qualitative metric and student satisfaction survey, all three process are the system generated score, that is combination of all three together. We have also the online student satisfaction survey, how it's going, how it's happen. I will discuss in my upcoming slides. And also we have the pre-qualification stage, and whole the process, the total process of assessment and accreditation is completely the confidential and transparent. As you know, uh, we have discussed about the very basic terms, because this may be the institution somewhat. We have received many queries from the institution. We have got many help desk, support system, IMS issues related to this. So I just want to discuss. Sometimes institution have many lot of query related to the cycles. Cycles means if you first time come for the assessment and accreditation, that is called the first cycle. Then if you have come up second time, that is called as the second cycle. Likewise, subsequent cycle, third and fourth and all. Also, institution have asked query, because we came before 2015, that was not RAF, and we have got accreditation. We have finished first cycle. So can I come again for the first cycle, because the process is changed now, the RF? No. When you come, the RF, the policy and the process is changed time to time as per requirement, as per global scenario, as per Indian scenario. But if you come one time, that is the first cycle. The second time, for second time, if you come, that is called the second time, third time, like that. So there is clarity, the cycle clarity. Validity, basically the validity is the 5 years. But sometimes when the institution, any institution, first cycle and second cycle, two subsequent cycle, they get the highest grade of NAC. The next cycle is extended, that is instead of 5 years, it should be the 7 year. So that is the validity clarity. Reaccreditation, reassessment. This is the process, reassessment. If the institution is not satisfied the grade, suppose any institution assessment is over and the grade was declared, and they are not happy to the grade, so they may come for the reassessment, but they come after the 1 year of the result declared, the date of result declared, and before 3 years. So this is the reassessment things. IQAC, the internal quality assurance cell, understanding of the requirement. Understanding of requirement means you should know the HEA needs to be understand the whole process of assessment and accreditation. Means after IAQA self study report, HEA needs to be submit SSR. Then the process, there is two parallel process, DBB and SSR. So understanding for requirement is very much important. Schemes of application, because the institution have the different type and nature of institution, like UG college, PG college, autonomous college, university, and teacher education, health science university, health science college, Sanskrit college has Sanskrit university likewise. So institution, they may prepare the manual as per nature of institution. That's why understanding a requirement and scheme of application, they may refer the NAAC website and understand the scheme of application, which in this institution is belong which type of manual. These are the some credential. Just I want to take 1 minute only here in this slides. We have, as I mentioned, we have whole process of online, fully online and automated process of NAC. We have separate coordinator, we have separate credential, IAQ, SSR, assessment like that. For each process, we have also the managers, IAQ managers, SSR managers, student satisfaction survey, DB managers, like that. And the process owners for requirement gathering and improvement in this process, we have also the nodal officer and super admin. Likewise, these are the different credential. Also the once the HEI is registered under the NAC, HEI have also the separate portal that is called, and each and every process is happen with the portal only. These are the success story of NAC, the methodology revision, stakeholder feedback. We have time to time, even after RF 2017, again we have revised our manual with the help of stakeholder feedback and expert. 2020 again we have revised. Now we are also working on as per NEP, parameters, NEP 2020. We are doing lot of work. We are preparing manual as per NEP content, and also we have done the many analysis as per the state requirement, like West Bengal, like Chhattisgarh, like Bihar, and etc. etc. We have done the study about the qualitative and quantitative study, where the institutions are lacking, where institutions are getting score, average, maximum, where the institution needs to be developed, needs to be do more work. This kind of study we have done, and it is somewhat it is already released and it is available on NAC website. Some are under the process. Time to time we have done the AOP, EOP, even the national level NEP webinar. These are the success story we are doing right now. We have right now this kind of manual, open dual mode university, teacher education, affiliated UG, PG, autonomous, general university, open university, health science university, health science college, Sanskrit university, dual mode Sanskrit university, yoga universities. Apart from this, some of the manual are under the process as per requirement of HI, NAC is doing. Now come to the process of assessment and accreditation. So this is whole process of assessment and accreditation. First is, you can see the registration, very simple. Any institution are eligible, that is the 6 years of existence or the 2 batches has completed, whichever is earlier. They are eligible for the NAC accreditation, assessment and accreditation process. So first process is registration, very simple. It is once you go, you have to go to the NAC website, nac.gov.in. There is login.
Madam,
Yes.
madam, we can't see your change slide. Only one slide is there. The title slide we can see only.
You are not able to see. I'm changing
Title,
my.
we see only the title slide, ma'am.
Okay.
Means just you kindly put it in the presentation mode. Yeah, now we can see. Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Till now we are seeing only the title slide.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yes. Now it is okay.
These all we have
Yes.
covered right now in this page. So
Yeah.
this is the registration first point. Second point is IAQA, institutional information for the quality assessment. So basically, what actually after the registration, once the institution registered under the NAAC, they must be failed the IAQA. IAQA is very simple. There is 31 part questions are there, either university or the college. The IAQA form is same, little bit change. Some of the question is related to the university is different, and some of the question related to the college is different. So there is the IAQA format. IAQA is very simple. I will show IAQA format, how many questions are there and how it's prepared. Very simple. Then the next process is self-study report. Self-study report, all the quantitative and qualitative metric plus profile of the institutions are there. The GI needs to be fill all those information and submit to the NAAC. And after that, there is optional metric. I will explain what is optional metric. Then the data validation verification process, student satisfaction survey process, pre-qualification, PA team visit, institutional grading. This 10 and 11, two process are post accreditation process. This is AQR is the post accreditation process, and appeal is the different process. I will explain in next slides. Come to the overall framework of the assessment and accreditation process. You can see this diagram. Here is IAQA. Once the institution submitted IAQA, if the all those things are, all the requirement is given by HEI is completely okay, that is accepted by NAAC, and the next process is self-study report. If any document is not matched or any discrepancies is there, then the IAQA is rejected. The rejection is very few percent, because once the institution submitted IAQA, NAAC officer is checking all those requirement and all those things, and immediately raise the clarification to the institution. Please provide this or this is not clear, please clarify. So HEI, as per requirement of NAAC, they are able to provide all those things. The few things are not whenever they are not replied or not provide the document, that in this case the IAQ is going to reject it. If the IAQ is accepted, there is 40. Right now we have the 45 days to institution fill the self-study report. After the submission of SSR, editing is not possible. We have received many query, madam. We have submitted SSR mistakenly. We have forget this document, that document. Likewise, once any institution submit the self-study report, there is no chance to edit anything. So once the SSR is submitted, there is two parallel process: student satisfaction survey and DBB data validation and verification process. DBB process only happen only for the quantitative metric, not for the qualitative metric. And here the one metric is in quantitative, that is also not validated by the DBB, that is called 2.7.1, that is related to the online survey of the student satisfaction survey. Once the DBB process is over and the pre-qualification, then after that the pre-qualification score will be generated. That pre-qualification score is not 25. Right now we have 30%. If the institution scored 30%, more than 30%, the institution is pre-qualification pass. If the pre-qualification is passed, the next process is on-site peer team visit. If the institution pre-qualification fail, the institution has to apply again after a 6 month and as a fresh IAQA. So this is the process after the DBB. And once the DBB process is passed, there is three process. The qualitative metric, the on-site peer team visit for the 30% qualitative metric and quantitative score generated by the DBB, and student satisfaction score. These three combined together and generated the grade. So this is the process, registration process I have included. Right now, these are the segregation of the type of the institution, like university, autonomous college, UG, college. This is available in NAAC website. I'm not going to explain many more here. This is the UG college and PG college. This is the 7 criteria. As per criteria, weightages are here different from the UG college and PG college, as you can see. Now let us discuss about little more on the IAQA. Institution, if any institution come for reassessment or the first cycle or the second cycle or any subsequent cycle, the process of IAQA is same. There is not a different anything. Only one question is different if any institution come for the second cycle. That is for, we have asking, NAAC is asking the HEI needs to be submit 4 years AQR if the institution come for the second cycle and subsequent cycle. Likewise, this is the screenshot of IAQ, how it's look like that. What the information needed under the IAQA? Very simple. I'm talking today because we are doing the autonomous college and colleges webinar. To be supposed to be speak about the college as per college perspective. How many programs are there? How many courses are there? As per, let us take this format and discuss about the requirement of the IAQA. So this is the screenshot what I have taken. This is, I have mentioned here university. The college is also same. This is a name of the college and date and establishment of the core institution. Does the institution have the own campus? Likewise, this is the basic questions are there, and also the principal detail, IQAC coordinators details, name, address, and all basic things. Nature of college, type of college. These are the other questions also here. Then also it is some of the question is related to the SRA regulation, university affiliation letter. Yes, now we are discuss about the university affiliation letter. Institution has the program. How many program? As you know, the NAAC is accredited whole institution, not as a program only. So if any institution has 10 program, they're supposed to be so all 10 programs. That is the program. These are the 10 programs are there. Either they also split about the UG and PG program, PhD program, other etc. diploma and all. So they has to mention there, and there is next question to details of program. So you have to provide their BA history, BA geography. Likewise, they have to mention under the IAQA, and all the program approval should be mentioned there in the affiliation letter. If the program is permanent, at least but permanent, so the university affiliation letter NAC is not considering more than 5 years. You have to go to the concerned university and take approval for the renovation. These program are continuous going on. This kind of approval is required, updated, because which kind of program, which program is closed or not closed, that is not a clear picture in the affiliation letter. So it is clear. If the program is temporary, HAI needs to be provide the current affiliation letter for the particular program. So this is the permanent and temporary affiliation kind of things under the affiliation letter. It is mandatory document also. SRA, if institution have any professional courses, they must have provided the SRA for current year. SRA, like if the law program BCI and engineering program AICT, likewise SRA is must. Also, the institution has provided, if the institution has CPE status and CE status, then they also must have produced the supporting document letter. Autonomous college, they has to provide the autonomous status situation, number of teacher, employment status, non-teaching staff, employment, total students, on roll, gender wise, male, female, and other. Likewise, number of date of establishment of IQAC, data submission. If the institution of the second cycle, they has to also provide the AQS of the 4 year. So these are the basic things HAI needs to be provided. Also, we have some of the mandatory document what I have mentioned, affiliation letter, SRA document, and these two are very much important. One is the undertaking, and another is the self declaration. That is already prepared by NAAC. It is available on NAAC website. uh, you can see in my slide, this is undertaking form. A to I points are there. Under the H point, HA needs to be filled the IP address. IP address is concerned laptop or desktop number, and seal signature, principal name, and address of the college. You have to mention, and this must be in the letterhead of the institution and upload. We have also the self declaration, number of programs, date of part time, temporary or permanent, and also the years, introduction of year, likewise. And in this also a chain needs to be filled and upload. So these are the some of the information. It's very much important under the IAQ, that is the affiliation letter, SRA, self declaration, undertaking. Website should be functional. It is very much important. RTI, if RTI are there, the RTI links also should be functioning. Let us move about the self study report preparedness. Some of the important thing discussed. Understanding of the metric is very much important. What I have mentioned for the quantitative metric and the qualitative metric. For qualitative metric, HEI needs to be filled under the SSR description and summary type, 250 words, 500 words, what's mentioned under each metric, that is already mentioned there on the portal, you are able to see. And quantitative metric, we have 5 types of quantitative metric. I will explain in the my upcoming slides. Data and information submission both are in the quantitative, qualitative metric and mandatory. Also produce the supporting documents. If there are any link, you have to must HI must be paste their links and provide the supporting document. Relevant supporting document. Supporting document. As you know, we have prepared the standard operating procedure. NAAC already prepared. That is available in NAAC website. Please go through there, and as per SOP, you provide the supporting document. So that is the supporting document, relevant supporting document. Go through NAC manual guidelines, read the glossary, understand the data template, understand the various tool tips, submetrics, metrics, and also the what the requirement there is. HA needs to be submit there. Now come to the extended profile. As you know, in this SSR we have two type of metric, quantitative and qualitative. Under the quantitative metric, we needs extended profile information. What is extended profile information? Very simple. We have four part: program, student, academic, and institution. And this must be HEI needs to be submit. They are in the portal in the extended profile tab. Program, number of courses offered by the institution across all programs. Student, number of student year wise, how many students are gone outgoing and final year students. Number of seats year mark, that is related to the student. That student's information is required under the extended profile. Academic related, number of full-time teacher, number of sanctions post during the last 5 years. Institution related, how many total number of classrooms, seminar halls, total expenditure excluding salary, and number of computers. So these are the extended profile question. This may be, this is a denominator value for the metric level, some of the metric level questions. So this is the extended profile metric. This is a SOP. We have also prepared. NAAC has also prepared the SOP for the extended profile and metric wise, available on the NAAC website. Data template is very simple. This is Excel format that is prepared by NAAC. It is available on the website. Don't edit anything. What is there, the format in under the Excel sheet, HA needs to be submit. If anything is extra, they provide the link in this Excel sheet. Optional metric is not applicable for the university, but right now we have there is a scope for the autonomous college, UG college and PG college. Which metric is not suitable for HEI? HEI maybe needs to be opt out. That is called as the optional metric. This is very simple rule, but there is rule. You know, the total weightage of the NAAC is 1000. Out of 1000, 3% means 30 weightage only HEI needs to be, must be the opt out, maybe the opt out the metric. But the metric with maximum of total 10 weightage per criteria only to be opted out. And criteria 1, 2 and 7 are essential. There is no scope to the opted out of the metric, because curriculum and teaching learning is very much important, and institution values and best practice are very important. So in this metric there is no scope to the optional metric. Some of the metric also identify कि this is very much important, that may be not opted out. And qualitative metric also cannot be opted out. Only the quantitative metric, means the criteria 3, 4, 5, 6, wherever the institution think like this is not very much scope, and they don't have data, they did not do anything regarding the same, they may opt out. That is called the optional metric. Now discuss about the 5 type of quantitative metric under the self-study report. The first is last 5 years. As you know, under the self-study report, NAAC is asking the last 5 completed academic year input information. Under this, HEI needs to be submit the first type of question. Some of the question is NAAC is asking last 5 years data. It means HEI needs to provide year-wise data, like 18 like 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21. So this is last 5 year wise information. Next second type is block year. HEI don't provide year wise information. They has to provide complete 5 year information. That is called as the block year. So complete 5 year is called as the block year. This is second type of quantitative metric. Third is the option type of metric. What is this option type of metric? They has the 4 option. In this, which option is suitable for the HEI? HEI may be opt option that as per requirement, like any 4 of the above, any 3, 2, or none of the above, as per HEI they has to opt. The fourth kind is the data for the latest completed academic year. So under the SSR, HA needs to be provide data for the latest completed academic year. If right now we are going to talking about so the latest, if institution are under the process, suppose today, so they has to provide the latest completed academic year means 2020 to 21. To 2021 is the latest completed academic year. So some of the metric are asking data only for the latest completed academic year. So these four type of quantitative metric, just move about the last. This is fifth kind of quantitative metric. As I mentioned, the extended profile, some of the question related to number of full-time teachers, students, institution has the ICT, how many total classrooms are there. So these some of the questions are there under the extended profile. So this under the metric, some of the question is automatic calculated from the extended profile. That is called as the fifth type of quantitative metric, the like student full-time teacher ratio. As you saw in my previous slide in extended profile, the student number of students already mentioned there, and full-time teacher to student, the system is going to calculate how many students and full-time teacher. That ratio is already calculated from there only. Apart from this, I just discuss some of the things. Academics, first I want to discuss here for the academic year some the data to be entered, and for the other metric to that academic year, like that sorry, 1st June to 31st May. So this is the academic year, but some of the metric we are asking data is related to the finance and budget. The institution needs to be provide the information related to the financial year, that is 1st April to the 31st March. And wherever the data is related to the books and publication, institution has to provide the data calendar year, like 1st January to the 31st December. So this is the calendar year books related information. You have to use the calendar year, and budget related metric HA needs to be understand the financial, and they provide the data. And apart from this other metric, HA only provide the academic year information. This is the DVB after the submission of self-study report. I mentioned there is two parallel process. One is the DBB and other is the self student satisfaction survey. DBB is very simple process. Once the institution submitted SSR, that is assigned to DBB partner, third party vendor is there, third party agency is there, that is called the DBB partner. This is totally confident. HAI didn't know any the name of the DBB partner, which HAI is assigned to which partner. Likewise, even this is totally confident. NAAC also, some of the few people are only knowing, those are in the process. So this is how the DBB done verify the metric. Only the quantitative metric DBB needs to be only they are only verifying, and also how they verifying what the institution provide the extended profile information, metric wise information, data template. The DBB partner cross check and verify. Also, apart from this, some of the open sources like AISHA and RFUGC, and this is very much important, the institution website. Wherever any discrepancy and mismatch of data, not only the DBB partner, even NAAC is also immediate open the concerned HAI website and able to find what the problem issues related to issues. And these process are the verification is done only the portal only, and each and every process is process only. Wherever the DBB partner found any discrepancy, they raise the clarification to the HEI and find out, and they ask about the please provide this document as per SOP. Once the DBB submit the clarification to the HEI, then HEI has the 15 days. Within the 15 days, HEI needs to be reply all the query along with the supporting document, along with the revised clarification to the DBB partner. Then again, DBB partner relook all those things, re-verify and update the portal. So this is the whole process. There is no second level of clarification, means only one the DBB raise the clarification, and HEI needs to be reply within the 50 days only once. Once you reply after 50 days all the information, there is no scope to the second level of clarification at all. This is the how the DBB HEI portals look like during the clarification. After the DBB process, there is some variation look like as a metric label and extended profile label. There is 4 status generate. What is the meaning of this 4 status? Want to discuss today. First is no answer change. HEI clarification accepted, DBB suggestion recommended, change after clarification. So this is very simple. No answer change means what input given by HEI, what input given by HEI for the particular metric that is matched with the supporting document, and that is accepted by the DBB partner. That status is look like no answer change. And the next is HEI clarification accepted. Uh, uh, During the submission of self-study report, the HEI submitted some input, but that input was not matched proper the documents. DBB had some doubt. DBB raised the clarification, and after the clarification, HEI clarify with some other input, and that input is matched with its supporting document. That is called the HEI clarification accepted. Another is the DBB suggestion recommended. As per supporting document, DBB suggested some input, and HEI also accepted. That is called as the DBB suggestion recommended. And the last status is no answer change, change after clarification. That is totally change what input given by HEI, because that supporting document says the number is not 2 2 in this metric 222, this is 0. It may be 0, it may be the what input given by HEI, either this input may be increase, decrease, or 0 as per the supporting document. So that status is change after clarification. Now come to the non-compliance after the DBB process. This is also the, actually this is not any process, but this is very simple. What is non-compliance of DBB process? I want to say from 2 years we are not going to put any cases a non-compliance, because why, just first we discuss understand about the non-compliance, what then will come to this point. Actually non-compliance is nothing. What I have mentioned, once the SSR submitted by the HEI to the NAAC, immediate that NAAC is assigned to the SSR for particular HEI to the DBB partner. What I said, HEI DBB partner only verify the quantitative metric. Suppose take example of PG college. PG college we have 60 quantitative metric. Suppose DBB partner look only 60 quantitative metric. They found somewhere the data is not matched. Or DBB partner raised clarification for the 40 metric. Out of 60, they found only 20 metrics are the matched with the supporting document, 40 are not matched. So they raised the clarification for the 40 metric. HEI mandatory to reply all 60 raised quantitative metric supporting document and revised clarification. This is very much important to understand. It is mandatory. If HEI is not able to produce all 40, instead of 40 maybe 30, 10, 20 or 0, they may be not able to reply. So in this case, the case is going to called as the non-compliance of DBB process without the supporting document, without the input. The process is not going to process that metric is not going to process due to the lack of the supporting document and all. This process is called the non-compliance of DBB process. So this is mandatory. This is understand. I think you understand. You have to reply all the clarification raised by the DBB partner. Then after that, there is pre-qualification stage. It is a very simple. If the institution is pre-qualification pass, the peer team visit. If the fail, there is a change needs to apply after 6 months. What I have mentioned. This is if the more than 30% are equal to 30%, the pre-qualification is passed. Let us discuss about the student satisfaction survey. This is also parallel process of the DBB. The online survey, student satisfaction survey. This is the key component of the accreditation. Under criteria 2.7 key indicator, the quantitative metric is 2.71.1. There is different weightage 30, 40, 50 for the university, college, and autonomous college. And there is HA already submit the details of student under the self-study report. In this students list across all programs, discipline in current enrollment year, they has to provide all the information. Strictly, this is mandatory HEI to fill the at least the total student out of total at least 50% of student is more than 50. It is very good. and that maximum of the 2 survey attempt to be reached for the desired level of response. What is the desired level of response for the autonomous college and general college, UGPG college? There is the 10% of the students, other 100, whichever is lesser. That means that this is the minimum desired level what needs for the evaluation of this metric. If less than that, metric is not going to evaluate itself. It should be complete 30 days upon the reaching the desired level. How it's happened, there is example. I'm not going to explain very more much here. That is the as I mentioned, there is two steps of the survey. That is 30%. If it is not going to reach, then again that 70% again, that is start, that is 100%. If it is going to achieve, so here in this case there is required at least 100 or 160, but institution only the 99 students are attempt. It means this metric is for this particular institution, that metric is not going to evaluate. So how the process is going on? The question, how much question? There is 21 question, 20 is objective, one is subjective. That subjective question will verify during the during the peer team visit process. There is the access of this. Now come to the PAT visit and logistic, on-site visit and logistic. Right now, each and process is very much online. That after the pre-qualification of the institution, the HEI needs to be paid the second installment of assessment and accreditation fees and logistic fees along with the preferences of PTB dates. HEI needs to be provide 3 visits, 3 dates as per 3 dates, and also they provide nearest airport, 3 hotels detail, good quality of hotel details, and near airport, near railway station. Within the 15 days, the date of the pre-qualification, an auto-generated email will be sent to the registered email ID. And NAAC is fully directly take care of the all logistic regarding the PA team visit, institution TADA honorarium for the expert, each and every processes. And NAAC will not pre-disclose the details of visiting teams. It will be informed about the finalized PTB dates through the portal, and there is no physical document will be sent to the institution. The communications will be through the portal or the email of the coordinator, and that NAC coordinator will send before the 3 working days of the peer team visit dates. Then this is the peer team. The visit dates, we have the 2 days visit date. This is available in our website, and also I'm not going to cover in this. This is the time recap for IAQ 15 days, self-study report 45 days, and DBB and Triple S 30 days, PTB 30 to 60 days, and result. So this is the overall timeline. Then after that, assessment outcomes. We have 3 scores: quantitative metric score plus qualitative score metric score plus student satisfaction score make as a accreditation outcomes. This must be available on the GI website. They has to be host on the peer team report, statistical analysis, quantitative metric, and institutional grade sheet. These all may be there. And this is the part 1, how it's look like that. Part 1, peer team report, section 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is the very general information, 2 is the criteria wise analysis, 3rd is the overall analysis, 4th is the recommendation, part 2 is the system generated quality profile, and part 3 is the institutional grade sheet. This is right now the grading system, which this is the 3.51 to 4A plus plus. Likewise, you can see the accredited and not accredited less than 1.50. That is D. This is post accreditation phenomena, that is called the annual quality assurance report. This is mandatory after the first cycle. HEI needs to be fill annual AQR. It is mandatory. AQR is not applicable for the first cycle institution. After the first cycle, the submission of AQR is mandatory for the all institution. How, when the institution is going to fill, every 1st June the window open and of the AQR, and the window shall remain open 31st of the December for everywhere. Example, like any institution supposed to be 1920, the window will open 1st June 2020 and the cell close be 31st December 2020. So if institution needs to be filled 1920 AQR, they must be aware about the when it's open and when it's going to close. And also this is for any previous AQR you can submit through the year. This is important. And also another example for the year 1920, the window, I have taken another example. 1st June in 2020. Likewise, AQR is mandatory of the institution for the assessment and accreditation process for the subsequent cycle. There is two part. If you're talking about what is there in the AQR, there is two part totally, part A and part B. Part A is a very simple. About 17 preliminary details are there, like institution, IQACs, plan, action, and process approval about the institution participation and about the MIS of the institution. This is the part A. Part B is the edge. It is like 7 criteria under the SSR. This is also same curricular aspect, teaching, learning, and last one is the best practices. So all 7 criteria is same, but the question is only for the annually year wise, not for the 5 years. So in this AQR, the HA needs to be provided information annually for particular 1 year, like in 1920, 2021, likewise. Once the institution submit the AQR to the NAAC, NAAC officer review the whole AQR. Is there any, if any discrepancy, the NAAC officer is raised post the clarification, and HEI needs to be after the clarification again. HEI have the 15 days, and within the 15 days HEI have to check what the discrepancies is there. And if in this stage, if you want, they want to update anything, they might be forget during the submission of AQR, they must have to done here in this year itself in this process. And once the AQR is approved, then after that, after 15 days, that if HEI reply, then after that NAC officer is going to approve the AQR. But once the AQR is accepted by NAC, there is no possible to edit anything. This is very much important. And also in the AQR, data can be filled year wise. As I mentioned, no changes is possible after the approval, and data to be adequately supported by the templates and the documents. Apart from this, we have two slides. It is related to the some of the important point, maybe aware about the HI, the whole process of the NAC, whole process of the NAC timeline. After registration, we don't have timeline. Anytime HEI needs to be fill IAQA, not mandatory today, tomorrow, like that. But once the institution submit the IAQA, the timeline is start itself there only. So timeline is very much important because one step is related to the another step process. So timeline for we have fixed for timeline for the each and every process like IAQA, SSR, DBB, Triple S, and peer team visit logistic. Each and every steps is with the timeline only. So please aware about the timeline, adhere about the timeline. You must be so aware about the HEI website should be functional during the assessment and accreditation process, even special for the DBB process. Wherever any discrepancy, the NAC officer, NAC, or the DBB partner immediate check the concerned HEI website. So website should be functional whole the process of assessment and accreditation. For each metric under the SSR, even in AQR, the file size of document is 5 MB only for one metric. So in this case, suppose institution has more data, then institution upload the same in the same website and provide the particular link in the response box during the DBB process, or the if they are in the process of AQR, they provide their response box. Password protection avoid, because if you put any underscore or dash, sometimes it's not understanding and this maybe create the problem for the verification. Don't provide any document under the Google Drive or any kind of drive, please avoid. And there is no other means of communication between the GI DBB partner except response box provided against each metric where queries are raised. Understanding of glossary, understanding of terms, understanding of metrics is very much important. Before you are going to coming to the AN process, you must read, understand, ask your query to the NAC, then you have to ready and then you have to come for the AN process. See all times, because the notification and is maybe change as per UGC or ministry. This is updated on the NAC website. Please check notification. Registered email ID you have to check, NAC website check for the update. Wherever the budget related questions metrics are there, we have asking about the audited statement. So for this you have to provide the audited, HA needs to be provide audited statement certified by the CA and head of the institutions, and complete audit report for the different metrics. Data and information submission both in the quantitative metric and qualitative metric as a different. Upload the relevant supporting document as I mentioned. These are I have already mentioned. This is very much important slide. as I think some of the institution may be aware, some of may not be aware. Once you are registered under the NAAC, the HEI has in this tab, you can see this is the screenshot tab, support help desk. You must be go there. If you have any doubt related to IAQH, SSR, DBB, or any process of assessment and accreditation, even after the post accreditation, you must raise your query and submit. The same day maybe get your answer, or the second day you may get answer. If the Saturday, Sunday, Monday you have to get your answer. So this is the NAAC support help desk column. Now I'm going to stop my presentation. If you have any query, I request you to raise your query.
Ramakrishna, uh, thank you so much. We extend our heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Professor Dr. Ruchi Tripathi, Assistant Advisor NAC, for nicely guiding us in this regard. We will, since our time is little limited, so it will be good if we take the question answer at last. We have the next speaker with us, revered Srimad Swami Shastrajnananda Maharaj. We are again very happy to have him amongst us today. Revered Maharaj is right now the principal of Ramakrishna Mission Residential College, Narendrapur, and Maharaj is the former principal of Ramakrishna Mission, Vidya Mandira. Now I would like to invite revered Swami Shastrajnananda Maharaj. Maharaj, please.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishnaya. My sincere thanks and gratitude to Dr. Rama and Dr. Ruchi Tripathi. In fact, I personally convey my gratitude to them because I have learned many things from them. And both of them have helped me a lot when I have faced any problem in doing any NAC related work, quality related works in our academic institution. My thanks and namaskar to Swami Ekachittanandaji Maharaj, present principal of the college, Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira College, and Swami Mahapragyanandaji Maharaj, present vice principal of the college, all the faculty members, both of the colleges, Vidya Mandira and Narendrapura, and other participants, distinguished principals, coordinators, IQSC, teachers, students, and support staff, and other stakeholders. As Professor Rama, Dr. Rama and Dr. Tripathi have discussed a detailed on the NAAC process, accreditation process, and also by Dr. Rama, I have seen in YouTube, and also a part of his lecture I have heard directly. There I have seen how beautifully she has mentioned some very important quality indicators. In fact, when we talk on NAAC, many of us perhaps think that only to get some score or have some grade are the be all and end all of NAAC accreditation process. It's not at all so. As I am very much with this higher education more than 2 decades, I feel from the very core of my heart that quality development process is a continuous one. And irrespective of any accreditation agencies, an institution, a college or a university should always try to uphold its quality. If an institution tries to maintain and sustain the quality levels in all aspects of the institution, I do believe that an accreditation process or ranking process, the institution will certainly receive its deserved recognition. There may be a little more or less score, that does not matter. But both the NAAC accreditation process and NIRF ranking process have been designed so well, so meticulously, and with such a vision, with such an illumined vision, wise vision, that if any institution tries to maintain all the aspects, or always keeps on developing its different arena, then certainly some recognition that institution will receive. This is not a proclamation. This is my experience. I have heard from my principal Maharaj, Ekachittanandaji, that perhaps Dr. Rama told that I should speak on what challenges the institution faces or may face while going for NAAC, or while aspiring to accredit itself through this NAAC process or get some rank in the NIRF ranking process. Rather, I think it has been expected that I should focus on the pre-NAAC activities or pre-ranking activities, pre-ranking endeavors that an institution must try to follow, must try to execute. I will try to highlight on some such points in a nutshell. First is, this I will tell based on my experiences. Least time it happens that I depend on PPTs. Sometimes I do, but not in many cases. In this case also, I will try to have some drawing room mode discussion. So just as my experiences have taught me, I will try to share those with you. First is, an institution must determine what are the visions, what are the plans it should have for at least 7 or 10 years. It should chalk out a plan for next 1 decade. You see, from our studenthood, early studenthood, we have been told, try to learn how to dream. An institution also should know to dream and should learn how to dream. It should not be a daydream, certainly. But in this process, the institution will be able to chalk out its future plans for next 1 decade. Now, while here comes the second point. While chalking out these plans, institution must classify these plans in different segments. What may be these segments? I'm giving some example. These are not exhaustive ones. Infrastructure and plans to be chalked out. 1, 2. Some academic plans. These academic plans may include how to innovate our teaching learning process. This may include how to introduce innovative programs. This may include how to address the shortcomings of our own institutional academic transactions, so on and so forth. Just I have given some example. So this may be the second. Third, financial segment, financial activities and accountability. Very important. These are very much interlinked. When an institution will try to outline his vision for next 1 decade on infrastructural development, he should keep it in mind that this infrastructural development must be linked with the academic expectation, academic need of the society, of the larger society. And also the opportunities the institution has, the challenges the institution is already facing. This will also include the financial liabilities that will be incurred by the institution to grow infrastructure and how to get that. All these things. That means these are very interlinked, but segmentation is very important. Otherwise, an institution will not be able to proceed, not be able to progress. Fourth segment is, if first is the infrastructural, second is academic, third is financial, fourth is extension, outreach, or ISR, institutional social responsibility. Academic institutions cannot be confined within the 4 walls of its geographical territory. It has its bounden duty to stretch out all possible and required assistances to other stakeholders residing outside the peripheral wall of the institution. So this is the fourth segment. And fifth segment is administration. Quality development of the administration is very much important. I have given these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not a serial. All these 5, I will tell 5 wings of this institutional bird. If an institution is compared with a bird, this is a 5-winged bird, not a 2-winged bird, 5-winged bird. And I do believe there's all these 5 wings are required to be equally active. I don't say strong, because strength is always growing. Today's strength is tomorrow's weakness. So it should be active, alert. All these 5 wings. An alert and active these 5-winged institution will be able to do everything good. So this is the first thing an institution is required to do. One institution, I think in the year 2020, during the pandemic, one institution asked me, just at the end of the 2020, I think, one institution asked me, one of the colleges in my state, that they want to do NAAC, and they have fixed that they will do it within the year 2021. They are all prepared and their documents are ready. What I should do, I should only tell them, guide them how to fill up the data templates and what to write in the manual in qualitative metrics. I told it's very easy, sir. If you read the manual, NAAC manual is so well documented, well written. Glossaries are there, abbreviations are there. And I told them that, you see, my experience says this our NAAC officials are very helpful. So you need not bother. If you are really ready, then you can go for that. Wherever you will face problem, certainly you may ask me, you may ask any NAAC official, other people are there, expert people. We will try to help you our level best, based on our own understanding. But again, I told, as we feel them, our colleagues, our friends, I asked them, sir, all the principals, sir, IQAC coordinator and some other faculty members came. They are very known to me. I asked them, well, sir, you have come, so you are prepared as you are telling. So what do you think that how you will do in this equality process? They have no such specific idea. But they have told me that they feel that they are very good college, considering all the rural factors and other factors. They're a very good college, and they'll be able to do fairly well. In fact, I can tell, they told me that A plus may not be there, but we will certainly get A. I told them, yes, sir, that's A plus, B plus, B plus plus. These are only grades and scores. Really, these are required. These are very much useful. But at the same time, just quality parameters, how have you checked it with yourself, with your IQAC? So then discussion started. And confusedly, I'm using the word very consciously, confusedly and surprisingly, both the parties on the both sides of the table found that in many cases, they neither have done anything or they don't have any documents. So I asked them, sir, do you feel that it is very much required for you to go for quality assessment process now itself? If you want, you may go. But can you not wait for 2 more years? Can you not develop your quality parameters in your institute? Try to get some feedbacks on curriculum. Try to get some feedbacks on teaching, learning. Do some extension activities. Do some cultural and sports activities in your college. Many things like that I just suggested them. As a friend, I can only suggest. And I told them that, you see, grade you will get and it will be with you 5 years. But even before you get it, can you not wait 2 years and just try to develop yourself? Will it not be better? So one of my teacher friends told, who came from that college, yes, Maharaj, that is very good. We can wait, but as you know, when in our college days or school days, when we prepare ourselves for the exam, we are very much eager to appear in the exam. So if we don't appear in the exam, we will be in the area group. That means again in the next year, 1 year drop candidate. Will not the people tell us drop candidate? I told you, see, comparison cannot be always cannot always justify all the segments, all the aspects of our society. What it is true for a student in a particular course, in a particular program, that cannot be true in case of an institution. So these are very silly words. Let us prepare ourselves. NAAC, NIRF have given us ample scope, excellent guidelines to make our institution quality upgraded. To make our institution upgraded in quality levels. They have uniquely formed some quality benchmarks. This one, this one, this one, this one. So these are the 5 aspects I have seen, the 5 segments I have seen, where if we can chalk out a decades plan, a 10 years plan, and execute and try to execute the plan, then I think it will be very much easy for us to develop our own institute. This is the one thing. Second, once we have chalked out the plan, now let us see the manuals, both the NIRF manuals and NAAC manuals. They have told the 7 criteria of NAAC manual and 5 criteria of NIRF manual. They will give us clear picture if we read it very carefully. Generally, we teachers, I also include myself, we teachers have finished our all reading once we have started teaching. For that reason, what happens that even the seeing the 100 pages, 120 pages or 80 pages manual, we don't read it carefully, minutely. I told them, you see, I have learned it through reading the manual. I try to read it carefully. I am not a very good reader. I'm not a very highly meritorious one. So one will be able to decipher all the codes of NAAC. Not that so. So, but I read it. I try to understand it. Something I understand, something I misunderstand. It may be so. But if I read between the lines, between the words, I'll be able to understand at least 80 to 90, 85% what NAAC and NIRF have wanted to do us. And once we can determine these are the parameters NAAC and NIRF expect from us, let us try to implement those things. Now we will see that the 1 decade's plan that we have already chalked out in all the 5 segments will be in many cases helpful in following the NAAC and NIRF parameters. In some cases, we have to change a little. We have to modify our thinking process. We have to add to our thinking process. So this is the second thing. Read very carefully, minutely, 2 manuals. 7 criteria NAAC manual, 5 criteria NIRF manual. It is there on the website. No need to get a teacher or tutor or trainer. No need. Anyone and everyone can understand. I have told 85% of it. So well written, so well explained. Let us read it and let us try to implement those things as it has been deserved or expected. It's true that we will see while implementing or while executing or while trying to follow the NAAC or NIRF manual, that we are not able to do all the things. No worry, no tension. We will be able to do something. As I feel, once I told in a university perhaps, that at least 60% to 70% we will be able to do. 30 to 40%, while doing rest 30 to 40%, yes, the institution will face some constraints. And to overcome those constraints, they have to take special care, special drive, certainly. But to do 60 to 70% activities, to follow, to implement all these parameters, quality parameters, I don't think I don't think colleges or universities will face any problem. And now here comes another sub question. Sometimes they have asked me, how much should we do? Some value-added courses. One college asked me, how many value-added courses should we do, Maharaj? Or how many extension activities? I told a very old story. You know, there is a story in the Bible. Jesus told it. There's a story of Good Samaritan, parable of Good Samaritan. We read it in our early studenthood, in the parable of the Good Samaritan. So it was, Jesus was asked that how many times should we forgive a man, a sinner? 7 times. Jesus answered, no, 70 times 7. That means n number of times you should do. So let us do the things. It's not for the NAAC accreditation or NIRF. It is for the quality development of our own institute. Why should we try to limit ourselves within 5, 3, 10, 15? Let us do the things. Quality will be improved. So this is the second point, as I have told you. And third is documentation. It's also very much important. Whatever we will do, we must try to document. One is paper document, written document. Another is photo documentation. This is required. This is required again, not only for NAAC process, but whenever any people will come. For future generations too, if I have a file with me, soft or hard, what I have done in my last 5 years, and if I have photographs with me means with this institution. So even after 10 years or 15 years, my next generation will come and will be able to know, yes, in this way this institution has traversed the long path of its growth. So the documentation, including photo documentation of every activity, everything of the college, proper, accurate, distinct documentation is required. So first I have told planning, 5-winged planning. Second, I have told preparing and executing, implementing and executing the NAAC and NIRF parameters, irrespective of numbers. And third, documentation. You see, these are the 3 things I feel an institution should always try to institutionalize. I have experienced it, and I have seen in other institutions also. Many times we do it only for NAAC's sake. So beautifully, NAAC has formulated annual quality assurance report. If we fill it up accurately, if we do all the activities as mentioned there will be no problem for us doing NAAC. And we will get good grade or good score. But what happens? We wait for 3rd or 4th year after our previous accreditation. From the 4th year, we start our process. Oh, let us do it. So naturally, we fumble, we struggle, we fall down, we try to get up, and the war goes on. Something we do. And after getting the score or grade, naturally we grumble. Oh, we should have got this. We have done this. They have not been able to identify, justify, all these things we go on telling. That can't do. So this is a continuous process. Many times it is being told that quality is a continuous process. We know it, but we don't follow. So all the three things as I have told you, pre-accreditation, I tell it pre-accreditation or pre-ranking process or a continuous quality development process of any type of academic institute. If we follow it, I believe we will not be able, we will not face any difficulty in doing NAAC accreditation or in appearing in ranking process. Some rank we will get, some score we will get, and we will try to develop it over the years. And that we will be able to do. Professor Rama, Dr. Rama and Dr. Tripathi have discussed in many aspects these quality processes. When they have discussed, I have nothing to say, anything more. But these things I have learned from my own experience. While doing NAACs, in fact, the NAAC accreditation, I have gone through 4 NAAC accreditation processes. In my previous college 3 times, in this college once, 4 times. I have gone through this. I have spent my days for this NAAC accreditation process. And I have seen how NAAC has evolved itself. And I have seen how the college can evolve itself. So I think these pre-accreditation preparation, continuous quality maintenance endeavor is very much required. And this is my humble submission in today's webinar. Thank you all. Namaskar.
Our humble pranam to revered Srimad Swami Shastrajnananda Maharaj. He, what should I say? This is not a talk or deliberation. This is really sharing ideas, and in one way, it's a kind of pathfinding, and it's just like sharing true guidelines how we can do this, filling up all this criteria, how we can get into it. And Maharaj shared this from his experience, shared his experience. Once again, we offer our humble pranam and gratitude to revered Maharaj Ji. Now we are almost at the end of this half day webinar. We have with us Professor Indrashish Banerjee, who is the head of the Department of Political Science, Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira, and is also the IQAC coordinator of our college. I would like to request Professor Banerjee to give the vote of thanks at the conclusion of this session. Professor Banerjee.
Thank you so much. With this, we come to the close of today's half-day national webinar titled NAAC Accreditation Processes for Colleges, a brief overview organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Ramakrishna Mission Vidya Mandira, Belur Math, in collaboration with the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Ramakrishna Mission Residential College, Narendrapur. It was indeed a privilege to have with us today Dr. K. Rama, former advisor of NAAC. Our sincere thanks, ma'am, for leading us from the front for a very, very long time now. Thank you once again, ma'am. We extend our deepest gratitude to Dr. Ruchi Tripathi, assistant advisor of NAAC, for this learning experience today. Thank you, madam. Now to Swami Shastrajnananda Ji Maharaj, the principal of Ramakrishna Mission Residential College. We extend our profound thanks, respects, Maharaj, for being with us today and always. Grateful. Respected principals, vice principals, teachers in charge, IQAC coordinators of general degree colleges, and all members of faculty who have made it today to this gathering. Thank you all for being with us. All members of the monastic order, all faculty and administrative support staff, they are our pillars. We extend our thanks to all of them in Vidya Mandira Belur Math and our collaborator today, Ramakrishna Mission Residential College, Narendrapur. Thank you all so much. We are indeed happy to thank the personnel and our honorable colleagues who have provided the technical support, without which and without the technological support which they have provided, this initiative today would never have seen the light of day. Thank you all so very much once again. Thank you.
With this, we conclude today's half-day webinar. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.